Back in 2017, in the professional football Super Bowl, the New England Patriots were playing the Atlanta Falcons, and the Patriots ended up winning the game. Massive comeback at the end of the game. It was big news. But right after the game, there was something really memorable, at least for me, and that was one of the commercials that came on. It was a commercial by Hyundai, a company that makes vehicles. And in the commercial, they showed a whole bunch of American soldiers who were stationed overseas. And they showed them watching the Super Bowl that had just finished up, which means that their production time on this commercial was really, really quick, and which was really impressive. But what they did was they would pull random soldiers from the crowd watching the game, and they would bring them into, it looked like a big bubble, a big white bubble, and there was a chair sitting in the middle of this big bubble, and they told them to sit in the chair, and it was really, really dark until all of a sudden the bubble inside, the inside walls of the bubble turned on like it was a big TV all around them. And they were watching, what they were watching when they were in the bubble was the Super Bowl. It was like they were watching it live, which is impressive all enough by itself that they were able to do that and set up this bubble to make it seem like they were there at the Super Bowl in the seats watching the game. But the more impressive part was that they had set it up so that that particular soldier's family was sitting there right next to them virtually at the Super Bowl. Hyundai had arranged for these military families who were at home to attend the Super Bowl, and they set up a camera in one of the seats right next to them so that it could be like their loved one who was thousands of miles away overseas could watch the game with them. It was really, really, really impressive. And then at the end of the commercial was the tagline, Hyundai, better drives us. In other words, the reason they do what they do is because they want things to be better. And apparently not only do they believe that life is better when you have better vehicles, they also believe that life is better when families are together, loving one another. And I think that you probably believe the same thing, that life is better when friends and family are together, loving one another. And if you believe that, then it means you also believe that the opposite is true, that life is worse when that doesn't happen. And sometimes that doesn't happen. Take Tom Brady, for example. He's the quarterback of the New England Patriots. And after that Super Bowl, when the Patriots came back and just broke the hearts of every Atlanta Falcons fan, the city of Atlanta Zoo decided to name one of their new baby animals after Tom Brady. And do you know which little baby animal they named after Tom Brady? The hissing cockroach. Their new baby hissing cockroach. They named Tom Brady, not the cute little panda bear or the pink flamingo or the little baby tiger, nothing like that. It was the hissing cockroach. Do you think the city of Atlanta loves Tom Brady? I don't think so. Of course, that was all in good fun. I don't think Tom Brady's feelings were hurt all that much, but sometimes it does hurt, and it hurts a lot when our relationships are filled with something other than love. I mean, sometimes what separates friends and families isn't thousands of miles apart on different continents. It's a big mistake that someone made that they can't take back. It's somebody's jealousy or resentment or selfishness. It's the kind of things that people do that make you wonder how exactly that person's heart became as cold and selfish as theirs obviously is. If I were to ask you to identify one person in this world that should be named after a hissing cockroach, I'm guessing that maybe most of us would be able to quickly identify somebody whose heart is being driven by something other than love. But this week we're going to let Jesus remind us of how important it is that love always drives us. And he does that so masterfully in the book of 1 Corinthians in chapters 12 and 13, which we're going to be taking a look at this week. But this is how the end of chapter 12 begins, getting into chapter 13, where the Apostle Paul writes this. He says, "Now I will show you the most excellent way. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing." In other words, love is pretty important. We'll take a look at what it's supposed to look like in our lives tomorrow.
Hey, it's Pastor Mike. Thanks so much for listening today. If you enjoy this podcast but want to go even deeper in your faith, I want to invite you to check out all the great content that we put out here at Time of Grace. The easiest way for you to do that, and the way that I personally do that, is by signing up for the Time of Grace email. I might be biased, but I think the Time of Grace team does a great job putting all into one email: a written devotion, a video devotion, a blog post, podcasting options. It's the way that I love to start my day. And if you want to go deeper with Jesus, it's a great way to start yours too. Just look for the link in the episode notes to sign up, and thanks for your support.